Time for another edition of the Boselli Breakdown. JP Shadrick with Pro Football Hall of Fame left tackle Tony Boselli. And, oh my gosh, 4 in a row now, Tony. What in the world happened in Tampa on Christmas Eve? We got coal in the stocking. What in the world?
Well, when you don't take care of the ball, you don't tackle, and you don't block very well, you're not going to win football games, JP. And I think if you look at just the basics, that's what happens. I mean, before you even get to the injuries and, listen, you can have a long list of excuses, but guess what? Nobody cares because every NFL team is dealing with their own set of issues and their own injuries and their own guys being out and so on and so forth. But you can't turn over the ball 4 times. You can't have 15 missed tackles, I believe is the latest number I heard.
Wow.
You got to block people. You got to run the ball. You can't have negative 3 yards rushing at halftime. Until you clean that up, you're not going to have success.
Tony, it was concerning. Obviously, a lot of things in that game were concerning. But after the game, when Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence are talking about just almost a lifeless performance, when you're in a playoff push down the stretch, to not have that energy, that fight, and just play a lifeless game altogether. How do you fix that in the final 2 weeks?
What's concerning is that it feels like this team has lost confidence, have lost that edge, have lost that swagger a little bit, where they just felt like when they'd walk in that they were going to take care of business. I think they got to find that somehow. And the only way you find that is on the practice field, working your tail off and preparing where you are ready to go when the whistle blows. And I think that's first and foremost. You got to prepare. You got to be ready. And that's on the individual. Obviously, it's the coach's responsibility to get, the good game plan and structure and everything else. But it's about players. It's not about plays. It's, the old saying, Jimmies and Joes, not X's and O's. And so our Jimmies and Joes need to, look in the mirror and say, okay, what can I do? Stop worrying about everyone else. Don't worry about your teammates. Don't worry about anyone else. Just start with you. What can you do to be prepared so you can go give your best performance on Sunday when you face the Carolina Panthers?
Tony Boselli with us, and speaking of the Carolina Panthers, it's been a rough season up in Charlotte, but you know what? They still have Bryce Young, and as the season has gone, he's survived at least so far. Hasn't really thrived a lot until the last couple weeks. It did get a win a couple weeks ago. So, any given Sunday, right? That happens this week when Carolina comes to town. You can't take this one lightly at all.
No, Carolina can beat you. I mean, you play the way you've been playing the last 4 weeks, you will lose number 5. And yes, the Panthers have a rookie quarterback and they don't have a ton of weapons on offense, but they got a good defense. And that defensive line will get after you. And where have we struggled as of late? Up front.
That's right.
The word is we might get Cam back this week. That'd be good. Try to get a little bit more healthy out there. Maybe Zay can get back out there. But Carolina is going to turn on the film and they're going to say, hey, we're going to go control the line of scrimmage. We're going to shut down the run and see if Trevor Lawrence and this passing attack can beat us. And see if we can force, turnovers and get to the quarterback and hit them. The one good thing is this team should have quite a bit of humility right now after losing 4 straight. So I think, getting back, on that field and, and working and kind of cleaning things up. And if they do that, they'll win the football game. I think they're a better football team than the Carolina Panthers, but they got to go execute and play like it.
And Tony, final thought. Now, I mean, they have everything in front of them. A win combined with losses from the Texans and Colts, the Jaguars will clinch the division this weekend, and they still control their destiny. Even if one of those other teams wins, all they have to do is win the next 2. I mean, even with all this chaos and the sky falling and injuries and everything, that's still a fact.
Yeah, but if you start worrying about that, what other people are doing, JP, and we just got to win 2 games. You start pressing. Don't worry about the playoffs. Right now, you got to figure out how to win a game. You've lost 4 straight. You got embarrassed on Christmas Eve. So, who cares about the playoffs right now? Yes. Is it all in front of you? Yes. Is it doom and gloom? No. But I go back to it's about the guys on the field. Those players have to play better.
If you worry about the playoffs now, you might be watching them on TV at this rate. Tony, always a great visit. We'll catch you again next week.
Thanks, JP.
For more exclusive content like this, make sure you check out our show, Jaguars Weekly UK, every Wednesday, 9 PM on Sky Sports NFL.